To import and export of goods under FTP, analyze the basic concepts relating to export promotion schemes provided under FTP, namely duty exemption and remission schemes, road ETEP scheme, reward schemes, EPCG, EOU, EHTP, STP and BTP schemes, deemed exports, and apply the same in problem solving. 9. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. 9.2 Customs and FTP. Unit I. Introduction to FTP. 1. Introduction. In the era of globalization, international trade has become the lifeline of any economy. Today, international trade has begun to play a significant part in the Indian economy, reflecting its increasing integration in globalization. International trade not only enables a nation to specialize in the goods which it can produce most cheaply and efficiently, but also to consume more than it would be able to produce with its own resources. International trade enlarges the potential markets for the goods of a particular economy. Foreign trade policy is a set of guidelines or instructions issued by the central government in matters related to import and export of goods in India, viz., foreign trade. Its primary purpose is not merely to earn foreign exchange, but also to stimulate greater economic activity. Legislation governing foreign trade. In India, Ministry of Commerce and Industry governs the affairs relating to the promotion and regulation of foreign trade. The Foreign Trade Policy, 2015-20, as updated, is notified by the central government in exercise of powers conferred under Section 5 of the Foreign Trade, Development and Regulation Act, 1992, FTDR Act, as amended. The main legislation concerning foreign trade is the Foreign Trade, Development and Regulation Act, 1992 FT-DNR Act. The FT-DNR Act provides for the development and regulation of foreign trade by facilitating imports into and augmenting exports from India and for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. As per the provisions of the Act, the central government I. May make provisions for facilitating and controlling foreign trade. 2. May prohibit, restrict, and regulate exports and imports, in all or specified cases as well as subject them to exemptions. 3. Is authorized to formulate and announce an export and import policy and also amend the same from time to time, by notification in the Official Gazette. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Foreign Trade Policy 9.3. 4. Is also authorized to appoint a Director General of Foreign Trade for the purpose of the Act, including formulation and implementation of the export-import policy. Foreign Trade Policy. In exercise of the powers conferred by the FT-DNR Act, the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India generally announces the Integrated Foreign Trade Policy, FTP, every 5 years with certain underlined objectives. The Foreign Trade Policy was earlier called as Export-Import Policy, i.e., EXAM Policy. However, Export-Import Policy is now referred to as Foreign Trade Policy, FTP, of the country as it covers areas much beyond export and import. This policy is updated every year, in addition to changes that are made throughout the year. The FTP, in general, aims at developing export potential, improving export performance, encouraging foreign trade and creating favorable balance of payments position. The policies are driven by factors like export-led growth, improving efficiency and competitiveness of the Indian industries, ease of doing business, etc. Salient features of FTP. The following are some of the key attributes of the FTP. Diamond suit export-import of goods and services is generally free unless specifically regulated by the provisions of the policy or any other law for the time being in force. Diamond suit export and import goods are broadly categorized as A. Free, B. Restricted, C. Prohibited. Diamond suit some goods are free for import and export but can be imported/exported only through state trading enterprises, STE. Diamond suit there are restrictions on exports and imports for various strategic, health, defense, environment, and other reasons. If the goods are restricted for import-export but not prohibited, the government can give a permission/license for specific reasons. Diamond suit exports are promoted through various promotional schemes. Duty credit scrip schemes are designed to promote exports of some specified goods and to promote export of specified services. Point 1. Diamond suit goods and services to be exported but not the taxes. Hence, any indirect taxes on exports are either exempted or refunded on both outputs and. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. 9.4 Customs and FTP. Inputs through application of various schemes in the form of duty exemption/duty refund, drawbacks and rebates, as the case may be. Diamond suit capital goods can be imported at nil duty for the purpose of exports under the scheme of EPCG. Diamond suit 4 units undertaking to export all their production, there are special schemes so that they can avoid taxes at every stage under the scheme of EOU/SEZ. Diamond suit in certain specified cases imports get duty exemption/concession/remission for certain special purposes. In such cases, to enable domestic suppliers to compete with the international suppliers, the supplies of domestic suppliers are treated as deemed exports. Diamond suit duty credit scrip schemes are designed to promote exports of some specified goods to specified markets and to promote export of specified services. Foreign Trade Policy 2015-2020. The present Foreign Trade Policy, which was announced on January 4, 2015, is an integrated policy for the period between January 4, 2015 and September 30, 2021. Various measures adopted in the direction of ease of doing business, trade facilitation, Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, includes. Diamond suit the number of mandatory documents required for exports and imports of goods from/into India have been reduced to 3 each. Diamond suit the facility of 24/7 customs clearance for specified imports has been made available at the 19 seaport and 17 air cargo complexes. Diamond suit SWIFT, single window interface for facilitating trade, has been introduced to enable importer and exporter to lodge their clearance documents at a single point, thereby providing a common platform to trade to meet requirements, such as animal quarantine, plant quarantine, drug controller, textile committee, etc., of all regulatory agencies involved in EXAM trade. Diamond suit to facilitate processing of shipping bills before actual shipment. Prior online filing facility for shipping bills has been provided by the customs, 7 days for air shipments and ICDs and 14 days for shipments by sea. Diamond suit DGFT under the EDI initiatives has provided the facility of online filing of applications to obtain importer-exporter code and various authorizations/scripts. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Foreign Trade Policy 9.5. Exports from and imports in India need a lot of regulatory requirements to be complied with at various stages. The policy not only prescribes the guidelines as to which goods and services can be imported/exported and the relevant procedures thereto, but also provides a lot of benefits, if properly planned. Schemes like duty exemption schemes, EPCG schemes, deemed exports, etc., benefit exporters, importers, and even define domestic businesses, thereby assisting all businesses to reduce costs at every stage in the supply chain. In addition, exporters can avail other benefits under various promotional schemes. Administration of the FTP. The FTP is formulated, controlled, and supervised by the Office of the Director General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, an attached office of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. DGFT has several offices in various parts of the country which work on the basis of the policy formed by the headquarters at Delhi. DGFT issues authorization, earlier called as license, for import-export. Authorization means a permission in terms of the FTDR Act to import or export, which is applicable for only specified goods which are restricted. It also grants Importer-Exporter Code, IEC, number to importers and exporters. Import and export without IEC number is not permitted, unless specifically exempted. Decision of DGFT is final and binding in respect of interpretation of any provision of foreign trade policy, classification of any item in ITC, HS, content scope or issue of any authorization issued under the FTP. Other authorities involved. Though the FTP is formulated by DGFT, it is administered in close coordination with other agencies. Other important authorities dealing with FTP are 1. Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, CBIC. CBIC comes under Ministry of Finance and its two departments, namely, Customs and GST, facilitate in implementing the provisions of the FTP. Customs Department is responsible for clearance of export and import goods after their valuation and examination. Customs authorities follow the policy formed by the DGFT while clearing the imported and export goods. Since there is goods and services tax on almost all the goods and services, except petroleum products, tobacco products, and alcoholic liquor, Central. Copyright the Institute of Chartered. 9.6. GST authorities need to be involved for all matters of exports, where goods have to be cleared with / without payment of GST. 2. Reserve Bank of India, RBI. RBI is the nodal bank in the country which formulates the policies related to management of money, including payments and receipts of foreign exchange. It also monitors the receipt and payments for exports and imports. RBI works under the Ministry of Finance. 3. State GST departments. To avoid dual control, some taxable persons are under jurisdiction of state GST authorities. In their case, state GST authorities are controlling authorities. Contents of foreign trade policy. The contents of the FTP 2015 to 2020 are as follows. I. FTP 2015 to 2020, having 9 chapters giving basic policy. This has been notified by the central government on January 4, 2015. The existing foreign trade policy 2015 to 2020, which was valid till March 31, 2021, has been extended up to September 30, 2021. 2. Handbook of Procedures 2015 to 2020, Volume 1, HBP 2015 to 2020, containing 9 chapters, covering procedural aspects of policy. This has been notified by Director General of Foreign Trade on January 4, 2015. It is amended from time to time as per requirements. Also, it contains appendices in I at Neariat Forms, A and F, containing various appendices and forms relating to the procedural aspects provided under the policy and procedures. 4. Handbook of Procedures 2015 to 2020, Volume 2, Standard Input-Output Norms, SHOUN, of various products are notified from time to time. Based on SHOUN, exporters are provided the facility to make duty-free import of inputs required for manufacture of export products under the duty exemption schemes like Advance Authorization and DFIA. V. ITC, HS, Classification of Exports and Import Items. The export-import policy regarding import or export of a specific item is given in the Indian Trade Classification Code based on Harmonized System of Coding, ITC, HS. ITC-HS coding was adopted in India for import-export operations. Indian Custom uses 8-digit ITC-HS codes to suit the national trade requirements. ITC-HS codes are divided into 2 schedules. Schedule 1 Import Policy ITC, HS, 2017 describe the rules and guidelines related to import policies, whereas Schedule 2 Export Policy ITC, HS, 2018 describe the rules and regulation related to export policies. Presently, most of the goods can be copyright the imported without any authorization. Schedule 2 contains very few products, where export is prohibited or restricted. Excluding those items, export of all other goods is free. Free. SCOMET list is also provided. Any changes or formulation or addition of new codes in ITC-HS codes are carried out by DGFT, Directorate General of Foreign Trade. Foreign Trade Policy Policy vis-a-vis tax laws. The foreign trade policy is closely knit with the customs, GST laws, and excise/state laws of India. However, the policy provisions per SE do not override tax laws. The exemptions extended by FTP are given effect to by issuing notifications under the respective tax laws, example, Customs Tariff Act. Thus, actual benefit of the exemption depends on the language of exemption notifications issued by the CBIC. In most of the cases, the exemption notifications refer to policy provisions for detailed conditions. Ministry of Finance/tax authorities cannot question the decision of authorities under the Ministry of Commerce, so far as the issue of authorization, etc., is concerned. FTP, Handbook of Procedures under FTP, CGST Act, SGST Act, IGST Act, Central Excise Act, for petroleum products and tobacco products, Customs Act and notifications issued hereunder form an integrated scheme of indirect taxation. All these statutes have to be read as a whole and not in isolation, since they are series of statutes relating to the related subject matter. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Scope of FTP. The FTP covers the policies and regulations with respect to the following matters. Chapter No. Contents of Foreign Trade Policy. 1. Legal framework and trade facilitation. 2. Policy for regulating import and export of goods and services. 3. Export promotional scheme, status holder scheme. 4. Duty remission and duty exemption scheme, scheme for remission of duties and taxes on exported products. Advance authorization, AA, and duty-free import authorization vis-a-vis duty drawback. 5. Export promotion capital goods, EPCG, scheme. 6. Export-oriented undertakings, EOU/Electronic Hardware Technology Park, EHTP/Software Technology Park, STP, and Biotechnology Parks, BTU, schemes. 7. Deemed exports. 8. Quality complaints and trade disputes. 9. Definitions. Definitions. Provisions relating to Special Economic Zone, SEZ, are contained in a separate act and are not part of FTP. However, provisions of SEZ are closely related to foreign trade policy. Handbook of Procedures, HBP 2015 to 2020, has 9 corresponding chapters which mainly deal with procedural aspects of the foreign trade policy. Special Focus Initiatives. The FTP provides certain special focus initiatives for market diversification, technological upgradation, support to status holders, agriculture, handlooms, handicraft, gems and jewelry, leather, marine, electronics and IT hardware manufacturing industries, green products, exports of products from Northeast, sports goods and toy sectors wherein the government of India shall make concerted efforts to promote exports. Foreign trade facilitation through EDI initiatives. DGFT has put in place a robust EDI system for the purpose of export facilitation and good governance. DGFT has set up a secured EDI message exchange system for various documentation related activities, including import and export authorizations established with other administrative departments, namely customs, banks, and EPCs. This has reduced the physical interface of exporters and importers with the government departments and is a significant measure in the direction of reduction of transaction cost. EBRC, Electronic Bank Realization Certificate, has enabled DGFT to capture details of realization of export proceeds directly from the banks through secured electronic mode. Further, an online complaint registration and monitoring system allows users to register complaint and receive status/reply online. DGCINS Commercial Trade Data. DGCINS has put in place a data suppression policy. Transaction level data would not be made publicly available to protect privacy. DGCINS trade data shall be made available at aggregate level with a minimum possible time lag in a query-based structured format on commercial criteria. DGCINS can be visited at http://dgciscol.nic.in http://dgciscol.nic.in. 2. Provisions regarding imports and exports. General provisions applicable to import and export of goods. 1. Exports and imports are free unless regulated. Exports and imports shall be free, except where regulated by FTP or any other law in force. The item-wise export and import policy shall be specified in ITC, HS, notified by DGFT from time to time. These are classified as A. Free, B. Restricted, C. Prohibited, D. Exclusive trading through state trading enterprise, STEs. 2. Compliance with laws. Every exporter or importer shall comply with the provisions of the FT-DNR Act, the rules and orders made thereunder, the FTP and terms and conditions of any authorization granted to him. All imported goods shall also be subject to domestic laws, rules, orders, regulations, technical specifications, environmental and safety norms as applicable to domestically produced goods unless specifically exempted. However, goods to be utilized/consumed in manufacture of export products, as notified by DGFT, may be exempted from domestic standards/quality specifications. 3. Interpretation of policy. If any question or doubt arises in respect of interpretation of any provision, said question or doubt shall be referred to DGFT, whose decision thereon shall be final and binding. 4. Procedure. DGFT may specify procedure to be followed by an exporter or importer or by any licensing/any other competent authority for the purpose of implementing provisions of Foreign Trade Act, the rules and the orders made thereunder and FTP. Such procedure shall be published in Handbook of Procedures by means of a public notice, and may, in like manner, be amended from time to time. 5. Exemption from policy/procedure. DGFT may, in public interest, exempt any person or class or category of persons from any provision of FTP or any procedure and may, while granting such exemption, impose such conditions as they may deem fit. DGFT may pass such orders or grant such relaxation or relief as he may deem fit and proper, on grounds of genuine hardship and adverse impact on trade. 6. Principles of restriction. DGFT may, through a notification, adopt and enforce any measure necessary for a. Protection of I. Public morals. 2. Human, animal or plant life or health. 3. Patents, trademarks and copyrights and the prevention of deceptive practices. 4. National treasures of artistic, historic, or archaeological value. V. Trade of fissionable material or material from which they are derived. B. Prevention of traffic in arms, ammunition, and implements of war and use of prison labor. C. Conservation of exhaustible natural resources. 7. Export/import of restricted goods/services. Any goods/services, export or import of which is restricted under ITC, HS, may be exported or imported only in accordance with an authorization/permission or in terms of a public notice/notification issued in this regard. 8. Terms and conditions of an authorization. Every authorization shall be valid for prescribed period of validity and shall, inter alia, include the following. Foreign Trade Policy 9.11. Terms and conditions, as applicable, in addition to such other conditions as may be specified. A. Quantity, description, and value of goods. B. Actual user condition. C. Export obligation. D. Minimum value addition to be achieved. E. Minimum export/import price, and F. Bank guarantee/legal undertaking/bond with customs authority/RA. 9. Authorization not a right. No person may claim an authorization as a right, and DGFT or RA shall have power to refuse to grant or renew the same in accordance with provisions of FT-DNR Act, rules made thereunder, and FTP. 10. Penalty in placing of an entity in denied entity list, DEL. A firm may be placed under denied entity list, DEL, by the concerned RA under the FTDR Act and rules thereunder. On issuance of such an order, for reasons to be recorded in writing, a firm may be refused grant or renewal of a license, certificate, scrip, or any instrument bestowing financial or fiscal benefits. If a firm is placed under DEL, all new licenses, scrips, certificates, instruments, etc., will be blocked from printing/issue/renewal. DEL orders may be placed in abeyance, for reasons to be recorded in writing by the concerned RA, for a period not more than 60 days at a time. A firm's name can be removed from DEL by the concerned RA for reasons to be recorded in writing if the firm completes export obligation/pays penalty/fulfills requirement of demand notices issued by the RA/submits documents required by the RA. 11. State trading enterprises. STEs are governmental and non-governmental enterprises, including marketing boards, which deal with goods for export and/or import. Any goods, import or export of which is governed through exclusive or special privileges granted to state trading enterprises, STEs, may be imported or exported by STEs as per conditions specified in ITC, HS. Items should be imported or exported only through state trading enterprises. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. 12. Importer-Exporter Code, IEC. IEC is mandatory to export any goods out of India or to import any goods into India unless specifically exempt. Permanent account number, PAN, is prerequisite for grant of an IEC. Only one IEC can be issued against a single PAN. IEC is a unique 10-digit code issued by DGFT to a person. DGFT has decided to use income tax PAN as IEC number, i.e., IEC will be issued by DGFT with the difference that it will be alphanumeric instead of 10 digits numeric at present, and will be same as PAN of an entity. To view any IEC online, following link can be checked: https://www.dgft.gov. https://www. In view of this, it has been decided that importer/export. In view of this, it is credit flow of IGF. To view any IEC online, following link can be https://www.dgft.gov in/cp/?opt=view-any-ice with the introduction of GST. GSTN would be used for purposes of credit flow of IGST on import of goods, and 2. Refund or rebate of IGST related to export of goods. In view of this, it has been decided that importer/exporter would need to declare only GSTIN, wherever registered with GSTN, at the time of import and export of goods. For residuary categories, UIN issued by GSTN and authenticated by DGFT will be used. For others, common number will be notified by DGFT. An application for IEC/modification in IEC to be made only electronically by applicants through digital signature or through authentication using other number. In case of STPI/EHTP/BTP units, the regional offices of the DGFT having jurisdiction over the district in which the registered/head office of the STPI unit is located shall issue or amend the IECs. 13. Trade with neighboring countries. DGFT may issue instructions or frame schemes as may be required to promote trade and strengthen economic ties with neighboring countries. 14. Transit facility. Transit of goods through India from/ or to countries adjacent to India shall be regulated in accordance with bilateral treaties between India and those countries and will be subject to such restrictions as may be specified by DGFT in accordance with international conventions. 15. Mandatory documents for export/import of goods from/ into India. Mandatory documents required for export of goods from India. 1. Bill of lading/airway bill/lorry receipt/railway receipt/postal receipt. Copyright the Foreign Trade Policy. 2. Commercial invoice cum packing list *. 3. Shipping bill/bill of export. B. Mandatory documents required for import of goods into India. 1. Bill of lading/airway bill/lorry receipt/railway receipt/postal receipt. 2. Commercial invoice cum packing list *. 3. Bill of entry. Note, as per CBIC Circular No. January 15th Customs dated December 1st, 2015, separate commercial invoice and packing list would also be accepted. B. Provisions relating to import of goods. 1. Actual user condition. Goods which are importable without any restriction may be imported by any person. However, if such imports require an authorization, actual user alone may import such goods unless actual user condition is specifically dispensed with by DGFT. 2. Second-hand goods. Import of second-hand capital goods, including refurbished/reconditioned spares, subject to conditions, shall be allowed freely. However, second-hand personal computers/laptops, photocopier machines, air conditioners, diesel generating sets will only be allowed against authorization. Second-hand, used, goods, except second-hand capital goods, shall be restricted for imports and may be imported only against authorization. 3. Removal of scrap/waste from SEZ. Any waste or scrap or remnant, including any form of metallic waste and scrap generated during manufacturing or processing activities of an SEZ unit/developer/co-developer shall be allowed to be disposed in DTA, domestic tariff area, freely, subject to payment of applicable customs duty. 4. Import of gifts and samples. Import of goods, including those purchased from e-commerce portals, through post or courier, where customs clearance is sought as gifts, is prohibited except for life-saving drugs/medicines and Rocky, but not gifts related to Rocky. Further, import of samples shall be governed by the prescribed procedures. 5. Passenger baggage. Bona fide personal baggage may be imported either along with passenger as per the prescribed provisions under the baggage rules. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Samples of such items that are otherwise freely importable under FTP may also be imported as part of passenger baggage without an authorization. Exporters coming from abroad are also allowed to import drawings, patterns, labels, price tags, buttons, belts, trimming and embellishments required for export as part of their passenger baggage without an authorization. Note, baggage provisions have been discussed in detail in Chapter 5 Importation, Exportation, and Transportation of Goods. 6. Re-import of goods repaired abroad, capital goods, equipments, components, parts and accessories, whether imported or indigenous, except those restricted under ITC, HS, may be sent abroad for repairs, testing, quality improvement, or upgradation or standardization of technology and re-imported without an authorization. 7. Import of goods used in projects abroad. After completion of projects abroad, project contractors may import, without an authorization, goods including capital goods used in the project provided they have been used for at least 1 year. 8. Sale on high seas. Sale of goods on high seas for import into India may be made subject to FTP or any other law in force. 9. Import under lease financing. It is freely permitted. Permission of regional authority is not required for import of capital goods under lease financing. However, RBI approval is required in some cases. 10. Clearance of goods from customs. Goods already imported/shipped/arrived in advance, but not cleared from customs may also be cleared against an authorization issued subsequently. However, such goods already imported/shipped/arrived in advance are first warehoused against bill of entry for warehousing and then cleared for home consumption against an authorization issued subsequently. However, this facility will not be available to restricted items or items traded through STEs. 11. Execution of BG/LUT. Whenever goods are imported duty-free or otherwise specifically stated, importer shall execute prescribed LUT, letter of undertaking/BG, bank guarantee/bond with customs authority before clearance of goods. In case of indigenous sourcing, authorization holder shall furnish LUT/BG/bond to RA concerned before sourcing material from indigenous supplier/nominated agency as per the prescribed procedures. Foreign Trade Policy 9.1. 12. Private/public bonded warehouses for imports. Private/public bonded warehouses may be set up in DTA, domestic tariff area, as per terms and conditions of notification issued by DOR under the Customs Act, 1962. Any person may import goods, except prohibited items, arms and ammunition, hazardous waste and chemicals and warehouse them in such bonded warehouses. Such goods may be cleared for home consumption against authorization, whenever required. Customs duty as applicable shall be paid at the time of clearance of such goods. If such goods are not cleared for home consumption within a period of 1 year or such extended period as the custom authorities may permit, importer of such goods shall re-export the goods. C. Provisions relating to export of goods. 1. Free exports. All goods may be exported without any restriction except to the extent that such export is regulated by ITC, HS, or any other provision of FTP or any other law for the time being in force. DGFT may, however, specify through a public notice such terms and conditions according to which any goods, not included in ITC, HS, may be exported without an authorization. 2. Export of samples. Export of samples and free of charge goods shall be governed by prescribed procedures. Export of bona fide trade and technical samples of freely exportable item shall be allowed without any limit. Such samples, freely exportable under FTP, can be exported as part of passenger baggage without an authorization. In case of restricted items, application should be made to DGFT. 3. Export of passenger baggage. Bona fide personal baggage may be exported either along with passenger or, if unaccompanied, within 1 year before or after passenger's departure from India as per the prescribed provisions under the baggage rules. Note, baggage provisions have been discussed in detail in Chapter 5 Importation, Exportation, and Transportation of Goods. 4. Export of gifts, goods, including edible items, of value not exceeding 500,000 in a licensing year, may be exported as a gift. However, items mentioned as restricted for exports in ITC, HS, shall not be exported as a gift, without an authorization. 5. Export of spares, warranty spares, whether indigenous or imported, of plant, equipment, machinery, automobiles, or any other goods, except those. 9.16. Restricted under ITC, HS, may be exported along with main equipment or subsequently, but within contracted warranty period of such goods subject to approval of RBI. 6. Third-party exports. Third-party exports means exports made by an exporter or manufacturer on behalf of another exporters. In such cases, export documents such as shipping bills shall indicate name of both manufacturing exporter/manufacturer and third-party exporters. BRC, GR declaration, export order, and invoice should be in the name of third-party exporter. Such third-party exports shall be allowed under FTP. Illustration 1. CD Corporation, a merchant exporter, procured order of goods from a customer in USA. It approached AB Corporation, a manufacturer, for execution of the said order. The shipping bills relating to the consignment bear the name of CD Corporation. Bank realization certificate, export order, and invoice are also in the name of CD Corporation. Comment whether AB Corporation would be deemed as the exporter under FTP. Answer. The given scenario is a case of third-party exports. Third-party exports means exports made by an exporter or manufacturer on behalf of another exporters. The conditions for being allowed as third-party exports under FTP are: I. Export documents such as shipping bills shall indicate name of both manufacturing exporter/manufacturer and third-party exporters. 2. BRC, export order and invoice should be in the name of third-party exporter. In the above case, though BRC, export order and invoice are in the name of CD Corporation, third-party exporter, the shipping bill does not have the name of AB Corporation, manufacturer. Therefore, AB Corporation will not be treated as the exporter in this case. 1. 7. Export of imported goods. Goods imported, in accordance with FTP, may be exported in same or substantially the same form without an authorization, provided that an item to be imported or exported is not restricted for import or export in ITC, HS. 1. However, AB Corporation can supply goods without payment of GST under bond of merchant exporter. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Foreign trade policy. Exports of such goods imported against payment in freely convertible currency would be permitted, provided export proceeds are realized in freely convertible currency. However, export of such goods to notified countries will be permitted in Indian rupees subject to at least 15% value addition. Only such specified exports shall not be eligible for any export incentives. 8. Export of replacement goods. Goods or parts thereof on being exported and found defective/damaged may be replaced free of charge by the exporter, and such goods shall be allowed clearance by customs authorities, provided that replacement goods are not mentioned as restricted items for exports in ITC, HS. 9. Export of repaired goods. Goods or parts exported and found defective, damaged, or otherwise unfit for use may be imported for repair and subsequent re-export. Such goods shall be allowed clearance without an authorization and in accordance with customs notification. If the item is restricted for import, the exporter shall require an import license. In case of re-export of such defective parts/spares by the company/firms and original equipment manufacturers shall not be mandatory if they are imported exclusively for undertaking root cause analysis, testing, and evaluation purpose. 10. Private bonded warehouses for exports. Private bonded warehouses, which are set up exclusively for exports, shall be entitled to procure goods from domestic manufacturers without payment of duty. Supplies made by a domestic supplier to such notified warehouses shall be treated as physical exports provided payments are made in free foreign exchange. 11. Denomination of export contracts. All export contracts and invoices shall be denominated either in freely convertible currency or Indian rupees, but export proceeds shall be realized in freely convertible currency. However, export proceeds against specific exports may also be realized in rupees, provided it is through a freely convertible Vostro account of a non-resident bank situated in any country other than a member country of Asian Clearing Union, ACU, or Nepal or Bhutan. Additionally, rupee payment through Vostro account must be against payment in free foreign currency by buyer in his non-resident bank account. Free foreign exchange remitted by buyer to his non-resident bank, after deducting the bank service charges, on account of this transaction would be taken as export realization under export promotion schemes of FTP. Contracts for which payments are received through ACU shall be denominated in ACU dollar. Central government may relax provisions in this regard in Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Appropriate cases. Export contracts and invoices can be denominated in Indian rupees against EXIM Bank/Government of India line of credit. 12. Non-realization of export proceeds. If an exporter fails to realize export proceeds within time specified by RBI, he shall, without prejudice to any liability or penalty under any law in force, be liable to action in accordance with provisions of FT, DNR, Act, rules and orders made thereunder and provisions of FTP. In case an exporter is unable to realize the export proceeds for reasons beyond his control, force majeure, he may approach RBI for writing off the unrealized amount as per prescribed procedure. The payment realized through insurance cover would be eligible for benefits under FTP, subject to conditions. 13. Free movement of export goods. Consignments of items meant for exports shall not be withheld/delayed for any reason by any agency of central/state government. In case of any doubt, authorities concerned may ask for an undertaking from exporter and release such consignment. 14. No seizure of export-related stock. No seizure of stock shall be made by any agency so as to disrupt manufacturing activity and delivery schedule of exports. In exceptional cases, concerned agency may seize the stock on basis of prima facie evidence of serious irregularity. However, such seizure should be lifted within 7 days unless the irregularities are substantiated. D. A personal hearing by DGFT for grievance. Redressal. Government is committed to easy and speedy redressal of grievances from trade and industry. As a last resort to redress grievances of foreign trade players, DGFT may provide an opportunity for personal hearing before Policy Relaxation Committee, PRC, subject to fulfillment of certain conditions. Export Promotion Councils. Basic objective of Export Promotion Councils, EPCs, is to promote and develop Indian exports. Each council is responsible for promotion of a particular group of products, projects, and services. Registration cum membership certificate, RCMC. Any person applying for an authorization to import/export, or any other benefit or concession under FTP shall be required to furnish on DGFT's website in the Importer-Exporter Profile, RCMC granted by competent authority. For instance, certificate of registration as exporter of spices, CRES, issued by Spices Board shall be treated as RCMC for the purposes under this policy. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Authorized Economic Operator, AEO is a flagship scheme which helped in improving India's rank in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. An AEO-certified company becomes a customs trusted trade partner. The program was started in 2011 and now has a membership of 4,400 AEO entities or AEO-registered companies. Based upon WCO's Safe Framework of Standards (IFAS), Authorized Economic Operator (AEO), program has been developed by Indian Customs to enable business involved in the international trade to reap the following benefits: I. Secure supply chain from point of export to import. 2. Ability to demonstrate compliance with security standards when contracting to supply overseas importers/exporters. 3. Enhanced border clearance privileges in Mutual Recognition Agreement (MRA) partner countries. 4. Minimal disruption to flow of cargo after a security-related disruption. V. Reduction in dwell time and related costs. And 6. Customs advice/assistance if trade faces unexpected issues with customs of countries with which India have MRA. Copyright the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India.